A very good morning to you, Nigerians, and a warm welcome to December. Yes, it is the Yuletide season, the time we all wait for, the end of the year, of course, the last month in the year 2023, and it feels good to be alive. Welcome to you for our morning show. I'm Adinike Uweye Ajiboye.
Yes, it is a pleasure to be here once again. If you count it joyous, I mean, this is the first day of the last month in the year. We're just like yesterday that we were saying Happy New Year, welcome to
I'm
2023.
telling you,
So it's already
and the
December.
twinkle of an eye, here we
Yeah,
are.
so please be grateful whatever you have achieved so far. Just be grateful to God that you're still alive. Welcome and good morning. Share with alive here. Is my name.
Good morning, Lagosians. Good morning, Nigerians. Great to be here this morning. I am Osage Solomon.
Wow, I must start by saying that Solomon, you really look good, and I'm sure this represents a particular,
Yeah, I choose to look like the Easterners today.
you know,
Indeed.
Indeed. And how do you always greet? I think you should start by greeting Nigerians the way you always greet.
Okay, Indeed, Bokwenu.
Yeah.
I think it's Kwenu.
All right, beautiful viewers. We are Nigerians, and sometimes it's just so beautiful when you promote your culture, and of course, Super Screen is not left out of that. So today on U45 Morning Show, you know how we help to drive your day. Yes, first we'll look at the papers in our newspaper review, and then we will also look at hashtags and trends. After which, we will now move to the topic of discussion, which is about low manpower in the Nigeria police force. I mean, it's been the talk all the time. The number we have negates UN prescription. So these are many more is what to watch out on this edition of a U45 morning show. So let's quickly go into the newspaper review segment.
All right, straight to the newspaper review. It's Friday, December 1st, 2023. The Daily Independent, the main headline says, Lagos demolition. Ohaneze insists that state government must compensate victims. Another story says, Senate reps open debate on 2024 budget and insist on implementation. Page 6 of the Daily Independent. Another story says, plan for integrated national electricity policy underway. Page 7 of the Daily Independent. Another story says, Kogi Guba polls. Security operatives take over INEC office in Lokoja. And that's on page 29. I thought we were done with all of the drama happening in Kogi State and the Guba polls. But apparently, it seems like there's still some dust that has not settled.
Exactly. And I'm surprised, of course, the president of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, commended these elections conducted in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State, saying that it was credible and giving all of the kudos to the electoral umpire INEC. And so I'm really surprised too that the dust is yet to settle there. Well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see how events will unfold. And do not forget that the main contestant from the People's Democratic Party, the candidate, has been, shouting and crying out that the election was not free and fair. There's lots of votes buying and selling, inducement on the part of the electorate. But who do we blame? Still the politicians. So I think we'll just watch and see how the dramas will begin to play out.
Absolutely. Still on the Daily Independent. Issue executive order for state. LG police, Afenifere tells Tinubu. And another story says, we won't tolerate sabotage of drug war. Marwa warns. That's on page 8. I think there's some, we talked about this some time ago. That one of the challenges that NGN is going to have, or they have been having, is the cabal Not just the guy that is selling
On the
marijuana by the
on the
streets.
streets.
There are some cabals that are pulling these things in and out of the country.
And they are highly powerful
highly power-
people.
exactly.
But I think that we should also commend the NDLEA boss,
Yes.
General Mawa Buba, retired. He's doing a lot of work, honestly, because I don't think we've ever seen this high number of people being arrested for drug-related offenses in a long while. Ever since he took office, he's been doing so much, and I think he's sending a very big message to them. For me, I commend him because he's trying to match his word with action. And so he's not a man that he can't be described like a dog that barks and can't bite. He's been doing it. I think Nigerians should just continue to pray for him so that he remains standing, and he works more to ensure that we win this war against drug trafficking.
Absolutely. And finally, on the Daily Independent, it says, Appeal Court dismisses suits seeking impeachment of Ondo Deputy Governor. That's on page 7 of the Daily Independent.
Well, alright, moving on to Nigerian Tribune. The headline says 2024 budget. Reps call for fiscal responsibility, public service reform. Now you need to do that. And then another one says task executive on security, economic diversification, employment generation. Now another writer says Senate leader faults 9.9 trillion naira. You can find that on page 3. And then Nigerians uninterested in budgetary arithmetic if bread, rice prices don't increase.
I saw that from Rwanda yesterday. I saw that news, and what he's saying is the absolute reality.
Yes.
All of these budget issues, all of this buying of SUVs, that's not the problem of the average Nigerian right now.
Do you know that? Sorry to put you out. Do you know that no matter what they put in the budget, if 1 derica of rice is 70 naira, right? And then all these other things people can use at home, all these basic things are cheap. A handful of the citizens will not bother themselves about what is in the budget.
True. You see, the truth of the matter is Nigerians are comfortable once the prices of food items are affordable. So it is the affordability and the field too. If you make power available, I mean, we have stable power supply, prices of goods are relatively cheap, and fuel price too reduced to a level that Nigerians can be able to afford it. But then they don't have business with whichever way you want to pad the budget, you want to borrow money or whatever. But it will just be more of the technocrats who will be interested in how it is being done, and which is expected. So just like he has appealed, the same thing I will also appeal to the powers that be to ensure that they make this economy better for the people.
All right, moving on. Says this headline says 80% surge in food importation alarming. That's federal government, and then provider says 88.5 million Nigerians threatened with insufficient food consumption. Now another writer says food inflation stood at 31.52%.
Can you beat
in
that?
October. Says Nigeria has the highest rate of stunted children globally. Now says explains what is being done to reverse.
This is heartbreaking. Now, in the year 2020, in the year 2000, a relative of mine came to Nigeria to pay a visit. He had been in the US for a while. And when he came, I was playing with my friends. I was much younger. and he was asking us, hey, what's your name? How old are you? What's your name? How old are you? When he was done, he called my mom and said, you people don't feed these kids.
Oh my goodness, for their ages.
Yeah. In the US, these guys are already driving a car. They were teenagers, but they look petite, malnourished, and that got us thinking. That's the reflection
Of course.
of the average Nigerian.
All right.
The average Nigerian child.
Exactly. I mean, why should you be surprised? It's just that it's very funny to me because when you see these guys, they've stayed abroad, they come here, the way they will, exclaim at such, growth is very funny to me. But we should not be surprised. I mean, look at the rate at which inflation is rising. So we're even talking of how many years were you talking about that he was saying that? So what is going to happen now? How will the children grow? I mean, so where do we start the discussion? Because even the government will promise that they are going to give free feeding in school, we don't even see it. You understand? So government is not even helping matters. Was that not part of what we were saying yesterday? That I was saying if government can at least make a particular amount of money, even if it's stipends available to all the citizens, it will help. It will go a long way to help alleviate the state of poverty. So I'm not surprised.
A lot of families are now doing 0, 1, 0, 1.
When we are talking about 80% surge in food importation,
It's not encouraging. Moving on away from that, I hear that Tiwa presides over Ondo ESCO meeting or political issues resolved for the government. And then another writer says Assembly withdraws case against Deputy Governor.
Case closed. Ooh, la 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 la. So they have been able to reach a consensus. You understand? Well, these are politicians, and politics is a game of interests. So I'm sure they've been able to sit down, talk, and say, oh, this is where you draw the line. It's okay. Let's make the people of Ondo State and Nigerians know that we are now together. So, well, let me just say congratulations to them. And I hope that there will not be a crack in the wall very soon.
Hopefully. And then another says, Reps NSE argue over concrete technology for road construction. Now, that's a major problem. You give a construction company, you award this contract to them, okay, do this road, fix this road. Within a year, the road that you just fixed.
It's not pliable.
So who and whom are we to hold responsible? Because every year you have to put that thing in the budget. You have to put the money for that in the budget. And I just hope that someday corruption will not be a thing. It will be a thing of the past. We will no longer have to face it then. We can now truly enjoy dividend
Of democracy. All right, moving on to the next paper. Now we are going to the Punch newspaper. Now staying with the front page headline here. The major headline reads, a new wage begins April. Federal government votes 24 trillion naira for salaries. And the rider reads, Labour FG begin talks. Current wage regime expires March ending, says the minister. And the second rider reads, FG laments fiscal deficit. Reps condemn high MDA salaries. Demand ICPC approve. You find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Another headline here reads, COP28, Tinubu meets King Charles, Nigeria. Others eye $26 billion fund. That story you find on page 7 of the Punch.
$61 billion fund.
Oh, $261 billion fund, yes. Well. Another one here reads, Jakba FG urges varsities to produce more doctors. You find that story on page 7, gentlemen.
who and whom would even want to
Stay in this country.
So they need to understand that, okay, you need medical doctors like you need air to breathe.
Okay.
So give them an incentive. If you cannot cut down their school fees, then when they are through with their education and they start working, improve their take home. You must use something to keep them. I will not stay in this country when I know that I can apply online and I will get a job in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and they will take good care of me and my family.
You know what? See, I think one thing the government fails to realize is that you can't only take a horse to the river. You can't force the horse to drink water. How do I mean? The lecturers cannot beckon on students to say you have to stay in Nigeria by force, or because the way they're saying produce more, because the doctors have jackpot, they've migrated, or they are migrating in high numbers, and then you're now thinking that the lecturers will be the one to see. We are in a jet age. Let me let you know that we're in a jet age, and you see students of now, they are not waiting any longer because they've seen what has befallen their parents, their let me say forefathers, so to say, because it doesn't look like there is an improvement. And so salaries that people have been taking for years is the same salaries, not minding the harsh economic situation. Nothing is being done. So it's only natural that the ones that will be churned out of the universities are also prepared to follow and jackpot the same way those there have jackpot. Permit me to use the word.
This nation, drain will reach a high percentage in the coming years, because like you said, our young people have seen that there's no hope. They've been telling us since we were much younger that you are the future, you are the hope. It doesn't seem like it.
Okay, so let me give a scenario to you. So there's this man who happens to be a radiologist. He's a specialist in radiography department. He heads the department, and he has young graduates under him, young doctors, young radiographers under him, and they understand that this their boss is not getting the kind of salary he should be getting, despite the fact that he's the head of the department. He cannot afford to travel for vacation with his family when he wants. He cannot afford to buy a car of his choice. He cannot afford to buy things. And
you think those mentorees are not seeing all of this, so you want their life to be the same way. It's not possible.
During the height of the COVID-19, I know of 10 radiographers that I know
had left the country.
left. 2020.
Shegun, don't be surprised. More are still planning to leave. You need to get to the embassy and see the queue. And now, quickly to wrap up with the Punch newspaper, I want to read a very good one here that says Kwara Monarch, 2 others bag live jail for kidnapping. That story you find on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. I think this is a good one for a monarch and 2 others to back live imprisonment for kidnapping. At least we are getting to see that they are prosecuting them. But my concern is I hope that they are indeed the kidnappers.
A monarch. Kidnapping.
It's surprising to you.
I don't.
You're trying to connect it.
I'm not surprised. When you even look at some people, you look with so much respect, and you'll be shocked to know what they are doing, in secret. So I think this is a good one, and an encouragement for Nigerians who are criminally minded to be wary, to be careful, to know that the law will always take its course. Well, this is all that we will be taking on Newspaper Review. Right about now, we will take a short break, And when we return, it will be time for us to bring in our guest, a security expert, Peter Okolo, for us to look at, of course, the topic which we started yesterday, talking about manpower shortage in the Nigeria police. So join us again.
It's Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru, your host with the most.
Freaky is a virgin.
Why are you bro?
Freaky.
Virginity.
I like food and I eat a lot, and you don't really see my body.
Where's the eat a lot?
You don't see my body. That's the special thing.
What's the female for Philip?
Philip. It can't be Philippines. It can't be Filipina.
Paul.
Philomena.
Paul.
Paula.
Tunde.
Tunde no.
Like I tell people, it's for you to be great in whatever you do. You have to stay humble and believe that you are a learner.
Have you ever been asked to play a romantic role?
Of course, I've played romantic roles.
Hi, my name is Yabojo, and you're watching Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru.
The second half. Revolution! Moses. The long lineal line. From the counter. Hamilton home.
It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well. He's alongside Lewis Hamilton and he's making good progress.
Definitely a look here. They play the spinning zone.
Sebastian Vettel
All the way through.
as they retire from
Moses. Nigeria looking much more promising in the second half. Revolution!
Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges
confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? Can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep it date.
What up, guys? You're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delola Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
Tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo ẹ pàdé mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday èyí tẹ́ mi ó ṣàfàfà.
lẹ́nu ọkọ̀ lẹ́nu odò lẹ́nu tọ́mọ̀tà cannot do.
Before you take something, now the only way matter fit balance. Not be say fowl not plan to fly you, but the power not carry am for your area, and you want make plenty ice and make you a year and make it for rich authority. You get biggie swag. Now that na for everybody. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no.
Well, it's so glad to have you back and still watching U45 Morning Show, the Friday edition, December 1, 2023. I'm so excited. And so, like we told you yesterday, we will be, taking a cursory look at a shortage of manpower in the Nigeria police, and you know the effect of this. We want to ensure that Nigerians are well policed, we are secured, and this is where we are with the shout of yes, some police officers have been withdrawn from VIPs, but still the number is still not in accordance with the UN policing ratio. So right now, joined by a security expert. Join me to welcome Peter Okolo.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Peter, let's quickly hit the nail on the head. There's been so much talk about the shortage of manpower in the Nigerian police. What's your take about this?
Yeah, it's a major challenge for the force. As of today, we have 70,000 policemen. That's the current standing strength. And that is, if you look at the ratio of that to the recommended ratio by the United Nations, which is about 450 to a citizen, right? That would amount to, say, about 600. One police officer to 600 Nigerians. This is grossly inadequate. And you're not going to get any value with that kind of manning. And so, for me, and I think, and I also want to thank the current government. I know that the president has approved, an annual recruitment drive for the police. And for us to be able to get an adequate police manning that will be able to compare to what the United Nations recommendation is, we will need a minimum of 190,000 policemen. Additional. Yes. Additional 190,000. And that can, of course, you know that you cannot achieve that in a year. And so the only way to be able to do that is to ensure that there is a consistent recruitment drive that will possibly maybe about 25,000 every year for the next 10 years. That's a lot of work and a lot of investment. But we also know that the issue of our remuneration is there. So you need to take that into cognizance when you're doing those recruitments. So it's a challenge that the government are aware. The current IGP has been doing a lot, and he has pushed to get this approval from the president. So I'm sure that, there's already an interview that is ongoing. I know they've started the test as we speak. So by 2024, I'm sure the recruitment drive will kick in properly, in line with the president's approval.
Peter Okolo, I noticed that a lot of Nigerians, especially young men and women, they don't find the Nigerian police force attractive. They don't see that they could have a career in the Nigerian police force for several reasons. I don't know, what's your take? What could be some of the challenges that is not attracting the right people who would want to have a career in security, like your experience that you shared earlier outside the program? What would be your advice to the Nigerian police, as an institution, and then to the average young graduate or the Nigerian youth who wants to, have a career path when it comes to the Nigerian police force?
Yeah, for me, I'll tell you, I've been privileged to work with the police in a lot of ways, as chief security officer of 2 major banks in Nigeria over half a decade. So I have that privilege of working with the police. Over time, we still have very wonderful police officers, but particularly at the higher level, ASP and above and all that. And you will understand that what has caused that perception, because it's a perception, within the environment, within the people, that the police are corrupt. And why is it like that? Because the police, in terms of, they are the internal security mandates agency that have internal security arrangements. Yeah. And so they are the closest to the people. So whatever they do, the people see them. And a lot of them have not been seen in the right light. And so there needs to be a bit of reorientation on the part of the leadership of the police to begin to model that this indeed is a force that will be able to give you some sense of belonging, some sense of who you want to be, and a sense of actualization, as you begin to get into the force. And so it's a lot of models. We need to get a lot of them who are very good police officers to model this out and say, what, this is a place to be, this has a career for you. I always tell people in my industry as a private security practitioner, I started off as a security guard, right, on a 4,000 naira salary. And for me, it was something that a lot of people didn't think was possible to do. But that was what paid my way through university, right? And then, of course,
thank God for the good time.
Yes, and it paid me through my university, and I had to grow from the ranks of being a guard, to grow to become chief security officer of 2 major banks in Nigeria, in the past 15 years, before I left the bank in 2021. So that needs to be modeled, and I would really encourage the young police officers who see this as a career to consistently, put that out, because it's a perception. Once you're able to sell that perception out to the people, those mindsets will change.
Okay, Peter Okolo, well said. However, what are the factors that you think is actually militating against, a number of policemen or recruits to increase? What I'm trying to say is that what do you think are the discouraging factors for Nigerians not wanting to join the police?
That's not true. That's not true that people are, indeed, that's not true that people are not wanting to join.
Oh, okay. Why do you, I beg to differ.
You know, I can tell you, in the course of this recruitment that has been going on, I've had a couple of persons have reached out to me to say, you know what, can you help me talk to one or two persons because I just want to get involved. And you can guarantee, and I want you to make your further research. I'm not too sure of the number that applied, but the number that turned out for the recruitment exercise is quite, and some people has already failed those processes. So it means that there's a lot of people who are actually interested, but what we're saying is interest. Is that interest is the interest of the force or their personal interest?
That's where
so that's all right.
All right.
So is that interest? Am I going there, you know, as just to be a police officer that will serve, that is going there to serve my nation, or I'm just going there to go there and then, you know, just take, you know, I know that I can always make money daily. You know, daily, you know, and see it as a meal ticket and not as a career. All right, so that's where we are in terms of number of people applying. I think people are applying, but whether the intention of those applications is right is what needs to be addressed.
Okay, now, you know what, of course, recently we saw the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun. He came out, he went to the former state where he had served, I think that's Kwara State, and, you know, issues were brought before him, which part of it was the shortage of manpower, which he agreed, and also informed that, of course, the federal government has approved for recruitment, you know, of more police officers. You know why I would want us to play that because the Commissioner of Police, Olaya, of that very state, also came out to say that the number of women police is dropping by the day, far below the United Nations ratio. So I would want us to quickly take a listen to that, after which I would want you to react.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's listen to it.
Okay, I don't know if my producer is ready with that. So
regrettably, the population of the state has grown geometrically, while the number of police men and women policing the state has dropped far below the accepted United Nations policing ratio of 1 policeman to 400 citizens. I would like to use this divine opportunity to request the supply of an armored personnel carrier to further enhance the security of our banks and improve our crime-fighting capacity.
We want a police force that will be so well positioned to respond to the dynamics of crimes and criminalities in our communities. And to achieve this, all of you have to key into this vision. We are paying attention to manpower. I know that there is shortage of manpower in your command. Provision of logistics for the police is a priority of government. That I can assure you. We are making efforts to increase your strength. Mr. President recently gave an approval for us to increase our yearly recruitment into the police. That is a step forward.
Regrettably, the population of the state
yes, that is the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, you know, also responding to some of the issues raised by the Commissioner of Police in Kwara State. Also, back to the question which I posed to you earlier, that
about the women police.
About the women police, you know, the number.
Yeah, I think majorly right now, the people that will, the Gen Zs that we have now, The Gen Zs that we have now are more social media driven, and so they see a lot of the quick money making ventures that are digitally generating quite a lot for them, and they could do that. They could generate that in under a month, under 2 months, under 1 year, depending on how you are able to build your content, profiles. And so that's becoming a lot of focus for our Gen Zs, particularly for the women, who know what they want.
So you don't see that as a challenge?
Well, it's a challenge for the force. So like I said earlier, it's important for us to, as a force, to be able to begin to consistently model, the value that the force represent, by leadership and people, the younger ones as well, who are currently growing and mans a lot of the divisions, because some of these divisions are also where you have those people that are closer that you could see, because the ones at the headquarters in Abuja, nobody sees them. Okay, so for me, like I said, is modeling that values that the force, is known for or stands for by the officers, and that will help to be able to attract them. But like I said, right now, a lot of Gen Zs are focused on making their quick money now, and not wait for 35 years.
Thank God you're saying it that way. We have seen a lot of police officers retire, and their life is nothing to emulate. In the sense that you look at it, let's even start from the state of the barracks and the state of police stations. Do you think, or can you allow a child that you spend so much money in raising to go through the university, and we know what he's saying now, especially private university? Would you allow such to go and and work with the police based on what we have seen?
I will. I mean, I'm a security person.
On what basis?
I will, because if you build a career and you have a focus on what you want, you just don't look at the immediate benefits. I mean, everybody, when you're building your career, once you look at the immediate benefits, you're not likely to get value in that career. And so, yes, the barracks are in bad shape. Yes, the police stations are in bad shape. What are the issues with police stations, for instance? The government needs to, fund the management of those divisions. You don't even know what it takes, some of these DPOs, to manage those divisions. How much of allowance do they get on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis to be able to fund the management of those divisions?
Okay,
so for me, government is not doing enough in that direction, because those are part of the things that will help to model in the police force in the right light. Those are the things that will help to model the police in the right light.
In addition, these are among the factors that discourage people from joining.
Exactly.
Okay, now, be that as it may, let's now look at solutions. How do you think the government can help to, or let me first ask, do you think there is a deliberate attempt by the government of the country to subject the police to the level they are? I mean, some people have argued that it is because of their selfish interests, so that they can have control of the police. Because when you're not so well paid, if you're being offered money, you want to take it, and you want to compromise on professionalism. Do you think it's a deliberate attempt by government? I mean, when you look at their remuneration, when you look at the state of police station, barracks, I mean, they are treated less of a human being.
Well, if you look at, because all of this has always been said over the years, so for me, there might be some level of truth in that, except for some few past governments who have tried now to increase the pays of some of these police officers, from the entry level, and then also begin to see even whether they can do more trainings for their officers as well. So for me, I think that the current arrangement, as the way it is, has some level of deliberate attempt to bring them down over time. Okay? But with what we have seen with the current administration, approving additional recruitment, we'll hope that they will be able to also increase payments for the guard, for the security, for the police officers. Secondly, if you look at, I know that Lagos State recently had taken on the mandate of having to turn around some of the barracks in Lagos. That is also a right direction, a right action in the right direction. Okay, so if other states can also borrow a leave, from what Lagos State has already initiated, although I've not seen some of those actions out yet.
No, but I think the former Inspector General of Police actually had that as a plan. He stated that he was going to start, refurbishing many police stations.
Yes.
So I think it's state by state they partner with the government of that state.
So, but Lagos State has just started that. So that's what for me. So it's something that other states we should borrow from, and then ensure that we can follow through on those things. So for me, it's something that if they follow through, I just want to believe that we can get it right someday.
Okay, quickly, let me get your idea about state policing, because people still feel that for Nigeria to be well policed, there is need for us to embrace state policing.
I'm completely for state police. And why am I completely for state police? If the police, a lot of people will argue that yes, if you have a state police that reports to the governor, he possibly will use it against his opponents or possibly use it against for himself. But truly, as a state governor who is the chief security officer of his state, and he doesn't have control over the police that governs his states, is a major challenge. There is always will be a breakdown. Okay. One, state policing would help you to be able to get more closer to your people. Because the gold mine for intelligence resides with the people. And the people have enough information to share with the police. But because of the perception that we have talked about, of lack of trust between the people and the police, we have informations that are residing with people that are not ready to share, because they feel that, okay, if I share, how much do I know that this will not come back to me? And then I've reported somebody who is within my community, and those people now know that I've been reported, and they will come after myself and my family. And so it's a major challenge. So that trust deficit is there. So we need to be able to, the police need to be able to close up the trust deficit that we have between the people and the force to be able to achieve a strong state police structure.
Right.
Peter Okolo, I noticed the lacuna in terms of training, in terms of intelligence between the police officers, the senior officers and the lower ranked officers in the police force. I've noticed it over the years. The high ranking officers are well behaved, they seem to be well educated, well composed and intelligent. But we see the lower ranked officers, in the beer parlor, they just fighting. Look like the video that our producer is putting on. They just came out of the car and they started fighting themselves in public. This is part of the perception in the police force that the people have, and they are withdrawn. Some parents would not want their children to be part of the police force due to some of these reasons. Because one of our lawyers came here and he said that Nigerians love NEPA more than the police force out there in the streets.
No, he said Nigerians hate the police more than NEPA, which is supposed to be
the other way around.
All the way. So now, as a follow-up to the question Solomon is trying to ask, do you think there's a problem from the recruitment process of?
That's why. So see, when you know, I'll give you. I'll try and take it as an when you want to open an account. Okay. When you do your KYCs, if you don't get your KYCs right, those account is already lined up to be used for fraud. Okay, so that is the problem. So for me, our recruitment process, understanding where they are coming from, and having a real due diligence and background checks of the persons that are getting into the force needs to be carried out holistically.
In carrying it out holistically, some people have said that this quota system and what have you is a major challenge, because I remember at a point in time, one of the commanders of Mopos in Lagos told me that the senators will just, social number of policemen, they say some of them can't even write their names and they have no choice but to bring them in.
That's part of the things that we have in Nigeria. It's a major challenge. The quota system has affected every sector in Nigeria. We have a commission. We have a commission that balances all of this, okay, in place. But unfortunately, that's what we're living with. And until we're able to, build a culture of excellence as a nation, what is required is to we're building a culture as an excellent nation that have an excellent culture as a driving force. Then we'll then take out the quota system. That culture needs to be built. Until that is built, we continue on the quota system, we will continue to produce mediocres and we never get excellence in whatever we think we want to do or achieve. So it's for us as a nation to take and say, you know what, we want to be excellent in this area. In our policing, we want to be excellent. And so if you are bringing people, we have to bring people who are willing to serve, who have seen it as a career, genuinely interested, not because you're from one part of the country or the other. That's so once we have that as a mindset as a nation, and we want to run on that, on the back of that,
okay, Peter,
we can get those values.
I would want you to speak directly, of course, to the government, because when we talk about culture, like they say, excellence is a choice. You would agree with me that you agree with me that if you look at the nation Nigeria and every sector in the country, it will be pretty difficult for me to see what we call excellent culture. Because somehow, some way, corruption has, affected or eaten deep into the fabric of the nation. So, just how do we start the conversation? I would want you to speak directly to the government on how we can get it right with national security.
Well, culture is something that you build over time. An excellent culture, and it's something that you have to ingrain into people's mindset and begin to re-engineer those processes and ensure that people can get it right. And so for me, as the government, the current government, I know that recently has appointed Fela Durotoye, all right, to be able to do those kind of things. And I hope that if Fela is listening to me today, my friend, so I want him to begin to go to work. He needs to hit the ground running. I've not seen those actions yet, but he needs to hit the ground running to be able to see how we can begin to get that excellent culture, that culture of excellence, begin to build into all of our institutions. Because as it is today, there are just very few institutions that have that excellent culture in our midst. So please, Dorothea and team, this is a call to you guys. please hit the ground running and let's see those things that you're noted for. Or you're known with.
All right, beautiful. Many thanks for your submission, Peter
Thank
Okolo. Well, we have been speaking with the security expert, Peter Okolo, and he's been able to do justice to the topic of discussion. So let me say many thanks for coming.
Thank
I
you.
hope when we call you again, you would oblige.
Thank you very much.
In addition, yes, talking about Fela Durotoye, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're somebody we all know. He used to be very, he used to be here all the time, talking and all of that for years. And so this is the time for you, Fela, to now match your words with action, you know. But I only pray that they allow him, like I always say, that sometimes what happens on the corridor of power is quite different from, you know, you can be here and be saying this, that.
By the time you get on board,
there's something in that Astor Rock that when you are there, you are rocked down. Let me use the word that way. And I hope that, you know, because you know, Fela Durotoye is a Christian. I mean, just go in and pray fervently that all of the spirits affecting them there negatively does not affect you. So we wish you well. So viewers, how time flies. So that's what we say.
We just started rolling and then it was time.
You know, I'm just surprised. But I mean, that's how time flies. So this is where we'll draw the curtain. Sorry, we are unable to take our trends and hashtags, but of course, join us again next week, Monday, where we will also bring to you that aspect, that very segment you always love to watch. I'm Adenike Uwoye Ajiboye. Many thanks for watching.
I am Osage Solomon.
And from all of us, do have a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend, and do stay safe. Bye for now.